Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is on the run from reviews. You know, it just seems like every day Dragon Ball Sparking Zero brain cells are attacking someone for a difference of opinion because, as you know, Sparking Zero brain cells are so insecure about this game that they can't fathom someone having an opinion outside their own. That's just how the Sparking Zero Glazers operate. They have to attack everyone over Sparking Zero because in their minds, that's how they're defending their precious little game. And when they hear the truth about their precious little game, they short circuit. It's just something in them that just snaps. Sparking Zero is not the salvation that the Sparking Zero brain cells thought that it was going to be. It is not the salvation of Dragon Ball Arena Fighters. It is not the salvation of arena fighters, of anime fighters. It is not the Garden of Eden for anime games that everyone thought this game was going to be. When a Sparking Zero brain cell, when a Sparking Zero glazer hears an opinion that is not a glowing review of this game, they snap, because in their heart of hearts, in their very essence, in their souls, they know that Sparking Zero failed. See, the Sparking Zero brain cells and Sparking Zero glazers, they tried to take down Gameology. They tried to destroy this man for telling the truth about Sparking Zero. Oh, but the mighty Hydra, it grew even more heads because when they tried to down Gameology, more reviews started popping up. And, you know, let's just say the diagnosis isn't looking too good for Sparking Zero. So allow me to be your tour guide on this tour of the failure that is Sparking Zero. I'll be your guide through the world of Sparking Zero Suckatude. Come on, Vominos! Everybody, let's go! Let's see these Sparking Zero reviews. Okay, so let's start out with the 5 out of 10 coming from Gaming Age. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero review for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. It reads, I was beyond excited for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero when it was announced. A return to the old Budokai Tenkaichi style of Dragon Ball game was something I had pined for, and my wish was finally coming true. Oh boy. After diving into the game and seeing all it had to offer, I find myself wondering if my wish was better left unfulfilled. Oh! 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 His wish was unfulfilled. Damn! Jun Furutani ruined this man's dreams. Sparking Zero is Budokai Tenkaichi 4 for better or for worse. Video games have changed a lot in the 17 years between entries. And what was groundbreaking and innovative back then is clunky and stale now. Oh wow, I love how he said that because that's why I was telling, they threw away all the advancements from Xenoverse 2 and Raging Blast 2. A lot of people went into this game thinking it was going to be the culmination of all those mechanics wrapped into one. Like, yeah, you were going back to BT3. You were going to take the good from Xenoverse 2, the good from Raging Blast 2 as far as like the combat mechanics, the cancels, the movement, you know, a lot of things that help those games stand out. And it was a very hard reset, almost back beyond Budokai Tenkaichi 1. Like, I feel like Budokai Tenkaichi 1 might be better gameplay wise than Sparking Zero from what we've seen. And he says it right here. They've totally regressed. They've lost all advancement from the Raging Blast series. Like, no cancels, no movement, no anything, no sauce from the current modern day Dragon Ball games or the games of yesterday. All that is gone. All that is removed and it's completely stale. At the base level, Sparking Zero is an arena-based 3D fighting game with an absolutely massive roster of Dragon Ball characters from across the years available to you. I wonder if he has anything to say about the fact that they did not get Fasha or Team Bardock or Zanya or Team Bojack. It's the same mainline characters that they hold back out of the base roster, then try to come back a month or two later. Oh, look, we got the movie character. Shut up! You've not added anything new. It's the same characters. You're just cutting content and then reselling the same characters instead of integrating new characters. I hope he brings that up. Please bring that up. Please bring that up in this review. Each fighter has their own unique skills. Unique skills. Please. And power moves. But the base combat remains the same no matter who you are playing, and that base combat is a tedious mess. Yes! Yes! Thank you! He said it! He got it! He understands! Thank you! Someone has seen the light for this trash Dragon Ball game. Someone has seen the light. Yes, a tedious game where despite you having 182 characters, they all play and control the same. Xenoverse 2, see, this is why you get hype about someone coming to Xenoverse 2, because there's a big chance they will play different, control different. They might bring a new mechanic or a new archetype of play style into the game that we hadn't seen before. But in Sparking Zero, what's the point? They all play the same. They all control the same. There's no combo cancels, no movement cancels. So all the characters kind of run together and all the same. And the only differences are the stats, because there's no customization. So like the fusion characters probably have the highest damage, and they just square. All the characters square. But then it's a matter of who has the highest damage in the square. And then who has the broken blast ones. And who has the unblockable ultimates that, you know, will hit for 2 bars of health damage. You know what I'm saying? Like all that makes this game just boring and tedious and monotonous, because it's no reason to learn the other characters, because they all play the same. And this is why Xenoverse 2 is just better. Just 100% better. I'm glad he brought this up though. Congratulations. Well, this is a gaming age. Thank you for this reviewer. Thank you. He said what everyone was thinking about this garbage game. Sparking Zero does not have the combo depth. Oh, thank you. Oh, this review is food for the soul. Sparking Zero does not have the combo depth of other fighters like Mortal Kombat or Tekken. Hey, we don't expect it to. It doesn't even have the combo depth of Xenoverse 2 or Raging Blast 2 or any of the other good Dragon Ball Arena fighters. But we're definitely not trying to compare it to Mortal Kombat or Tekken. It doesn't require frame perfect input strings or even very directional specific moves of those other games. Yeah, we all see that. It keeps things simple with physical attacks set to square and key attacks set to triangle. Square. And all of their expanded uses coming into play with combinations of bumper or trigger presses at the right time. The issue is that each bumper and trigger presses also does something else. If you want to dash rush your opponent, R2 plus X sends you shooting through the air. Just as often though, the input doesn't register appropriately and you're left charging your key R2 or simply dashing forward a bit, X. You spend the entirety of combat one micro input away from unintentionally changing the flow of what you were trying to do. Thank you! They bring this up beautifully. Yes, the game is so bugged that inputs would just go wrong. This is why a lot of people, they choose the OP characters that have a security net, that have a safety net. Because again, it doesn't matter what they input, because the OP characters, the fusion characters with 4 or 5 bars of health, highest damage, the Sensu-Bean, Yajirobe, the healing characters, they all have massive safety nets that are gonna undo their mistakes. So there's no problem with them, but the rest of the cast that doesn't have OP blast ones, that suck in damage, they can't afford to make a mistake. One mistake and that's it. They're getting wiped. That's what I'm seeing on every stream, every video, and it's boring to watch. And I love how they bring it up because I've heard dozens of streamers, man, that's not what I wanted to do. Get dozens of videos where the person in the video is saying that's not what I intended to happen. That's not what I wanted to come out. And it's because the controls for this unfinished piece of crap game are undone. They're not finished. They're bugged. And nobody cares to fix that. But they made you pay that $200, didn't they? That had to clear first. That had to work. But their game doesn't have to work. It has to be an unfinished piece of trash. Isn't that interesting how that works? Which is exhaustingly frustrating. To make matters worse, the moves needed to engage in combat are not particularly easy to chain together or execute on their own. Thank you! Thank you! Thank you for bringing this up. This review is exquisite. Thank you. Thank you for bringing all this up. The Sparking Zero Glazers. Are you going to try to silence him too? Are you going to try to run him off like Gameology? Because I don't think he's going anywhere. You can't run away all these reviewers. You can't hide. You can't cover it up. Your game is a piece of trash. And I love how he brought this up. I love it. I just love it. Combat is just frustrating. Drawn out back and forth that becomes so boring so quickly that even executing flashy finishing moves does little to liven up the experience. Oh my God, I love that paragraph. I want to read it again. To make matters worse, the moves needed to engage in this combat are not particularly easy to chain together or execute on their own. So more often than not, combat is just a frustrating, drawn out back and forth that becomes so boring so quickly that even executing flashy finishing moves does little to liven up the experience. That's why live stream views are tanking. That's why people who were getting views on day one, they were getting massive amounts of views. That's why that fell off after the first day, after the first week. That's gone. That went bye-bye. People are tired of watching the game. It's trash. Nobody cares anymore. It's over. It was definitely a flash in the pan. Nobody cares anymore. It's all gone. I told you the Sparking Zero, it would just be a flash in the pan, and that's what's happening. You can't stop these reviews. Let's continue reading. The main storyline in Sparking Zero is the same story that every Dragon Ball fan will be familiar with, but it is told in one of the best exciting excuse me, but it is told in one of the least exciting formats ever. Wow, it's like I told you guys this already. The story beats between fights are given primarily through still images and occasionally narration with a cutscene here and there. While I do not need another frame-for-frame retelling of the entire Dragon Ball story thus far, a slightly more robust feature mode would have been welcome. This is what we're saying. It doesn't need to be Kakarot. No one said it needs to be an open world RPG frame-for-frame remake of Dragon Ball, but a still image PowerPoint presentation? That's what you decide to give your fans? That's what you decide to put in Budokai Tenkaichi? I'm not even going to call it Tenkaichi 4. It's Pretend Kaiichi. Dragon Ball Pretend Kaiichi. That is the name of this game now. Sparking Zero. No, Pretend Kaiichi. Pretend Kaiichi. Hashtag Pretend Kaiichi is the name of this game now. And the story mode, they bastardized it. They bastardized this story. I don't care what you say. It is trash. It is complete trash. It does introduce a what-if mechanic at times that allows you to choose between an A and B choice, one of which matches the canon end and one that doesn't. Choosing the non-canon option gives you an additional fight or two before looping back into the main storyline. Like I said, cheap gimmick. It means nothing. It's a piece of garbage. This is not robust enough to alter the feel of the game of the main story. Well, I guess it's a fun addition. I don't call it fun. I call it just a distraction. That's all it was. It was a distraction for how bare bones and barren this game was. How all the cut content is probably being saved for a cheap sequel. Sparking Zero 2. Look, we got all this stuff right that we planned to get wrong. Planned obsolescence. Trash. Trash ass game. I was right. Perfection was right. You should have been listening to me. Should have been listening to me the whole time. Did you listen? Nah, you wanted to listen to the Bandai Baby Oil Bangers. You wanted to listen to them. You wanted to go to the Diddy party with them. And now you feel like your money has been wasted. There's also a custom game mode that allows you to create your own missions and battles, pitting different characters throughout the Dragon Ball canon against each other. Want to see how base Goku would fare against Ultra Instinct Goku? Give it a go. These custom battles can be saved and presented to others to tackle, but you must be able to complete the level yourself first. This is an interesting addition, albeit one that I do not see getting much playtime outside of a few devoted fans. Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. This was just a BS game mode. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be playing custom battle. And what have you seen? Nobody's been paying attention to custom battle because it's a trash mode. It's a gimmick. It's a cheap gimmick. Nobody cares. It's ran its course. It got a wow or two in the beginning, but nobody cares. Nobody cares what your fan fiction is. Nobody cares. I don't think Masako X. I don't think he could flip this. I don't even think that Masako X could flip this mode and make it something interesting. It's not. It's just no one cares about your fanfic. Nobody cares. This would maybe. I would say I don't think it would work in Xenoverse because as lazy as they were with this mode, it would not even work in Xenoverse. Like the concept would work, but how poorly they execute it would not work in Xenoverse 2. Visually, Sparking Zero is excellent. Yeah, you got the little candy color anime shader. Yeah, what of it? Aside of a few performance issues that felt like they were very PlayStation 5 based, the game gives me everything I could want from a Dragon Ball game. The arenas all shine and bring environments from the anime to life once again. Yeah, only 12 stages. Only 12 stages, and I would like to dispute this point right here because I can tell you what they did with these stages. Now that I'm looking at gameplay, people are putting gameplay in the Dropbox. I can see what they did, and they think they're sneaky with this. I'm gonna do a whole expose on that. Like these 12 stages. I think that he just wanted to put something good here so that people would not say that he was just trashing on the game. He had to put one good thing here to keep the Sparking Zero Glazers at bay, and they're still going to come at him for him even having a difference of opinion about the game. So I don't know why he wasted his time trying to put this fake bit of positivity here. The audio shines. No, it doesn't, because they don't even put the original sounds back in there. A lot of people are saying this game sounds like trash. At the end of the day, your mileage with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero will vary. I found myself bored as often as I was excited, and as frustrated as often as I was exhilarated. For fans who simply want to relive the glory of their childhood with Budokai Tenkaichi, there might be enough here to draw them in. For folks looking for a continuation of the depth that fighters added, or the beat-em-up fun of a Kakarot or Xenoverse style game, I do not see Sparking Zero scratching that itch for you. Score 5 out of 10. Thank you, Gaming Age. Now, I know you had to tweak a little bit. You had to put a little. You had to say the visuals look good. You had to say that. I get. We gonna let it slide. We gonna let it slide. You had to put something positive there, so that the Sparking Zero Glazers couldn't say that you said everything was bad. Like it is. Everything is bad. But what you tackled here, you said it beautifully. This game doesn't compare to Xenoverse. Doesn't even compare to Kakarot. This game is not deep at all. It has no depth. All the characters play the same. It is boring. It is glitchy. I love this review. But there's more. Sparking Zero is the gift that keeps giving. Let's look at more of this disappointment. Let's look at this over here on Gamer Pro. Game Pro. I think he gave it a 67 out of 10, which is a D. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero got a D. A D. That's a failure. That's failing. That is failing. That is garbage. 67 out of 100. But this is the salvation of anime games. Let's read this review. Dragon Ball games. Dragon Ball fans had to wait a full 17 years for a sequel to the Budokai Tenkaichi series. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is now the successor and boasts the most extensive list of fighters for all Dragon Ball games. 182. Look. Extensive, no Team Bardock, no Basha, no Chilai, no Zangia, no Team Bojack, no Crusher Core, no Coquette, no Vados. But you call this extensive. I don't know about that. We got to read this review. We got 67. I'm going to let it slide. We're going to see where this is going. It boasts the most extensive list of fighters for all Dragon Ball games and an unbeatable feeling of nostalgia. But unfortunately, all this still doesn't add up to a good game, and upon closer inspection, let's read that again. And upon closer inspection, not much remains of the initial high. He had to look harder. As Rafiki would say, look harder. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero picks up where it left off 17 years ago. So I think he's just giving an overview here. Let's get into the actual review. Unfortunately, the new features also do not make Dragon Ball Sparking Zero a good game. Uh-oh. The bad news. What initially gives us an excellent, powerful gaming experience that lets us experience the epic anime battles ourselves quickly turns out to be a frustrating, chaotic brawl with little long-term motivation and no real opportunities for tactics in depth. Uh-oh, you're hearing that again. This is two different review sites at this point. No tactics and no depth. No tactics and no depth. No combos and no cancels. No movement cancels. All the tech, what Xenoverse used to have, where you could move and get in and get out of engagements, where you could cancel your movements, where you could predict someone vanishing or escape moving and get in and get out, and really shake up the battle from just being purely about turns and giving the game a added layer of depth. That's not here. They're telling you, these other unbiased, impartial reviewers are telling you what it is. The fights are confusing, always following the same repetitive pattern. We try to charge up our ki as quickly as possible in order to fire off our strongest attacks, and then we can only hope that they actually hit the opponent this time. However, the enemies are often far away, difficult to see, and even more difficult to hit if we are close. The whole thing usually degenerates into dull button mashing. Degenerates into dull button mashing. Let's read that one more time. Usually degenerates into dull button mashing due to the overly simple input of blocks and combos. Square, 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 square. Everyone has the same combos. It is boring, boring, boring. No cancels, no movement, no anything. It is boring, boring. Square, 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 square. All the combos do the same thing. All the combos are the same thing. All the characters share the same combos. Yeah, the animations might be different, but the combos are still the same. They do the same thing. They are the same combos across all the characters. The only difference is, the fusion characters have the higher damage. They have the higher health. Therefore, they're the characters you see in rank. That's the only difference. There is no depth or tactics in this game. The hit feedback leaves a lot to be desired. For almost all ranged attacks, even the HUD displays are confusing. You have to pay particular attention to small squares instead of the large bar see below. Okay. The combat is particularly difficult to read close to the ground because the camera tends to sink into the ground or even into houses. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Yet, there are now weather effects, but the much heralded feature is actually limited to the fact that it gets darker when you switch to sparking mode. The destruction of the environment is nice to look at. It helps the atmosphere, but it lacks any added value in terms of gameplay. Yep. They didn't even add the features from the Rage and Blast series where you could drive people into the wall or smash them and create a crater in the ground. Different stuff like that added like environmental hazards and stuff. That's not here. I love to say I told you so. What makes the new Dragon Ball game really good is the extremely extensive fan service. He's trying to pad it with some good stuff so they couldn't say it was a completely negative review. So he tweaked it, but we gonna read it. That's all there really is to it. There is no other Dragon Ball game that offers more characters, even though they all play the same. Like, you'll get excited for a Xenoverse 2 character because they're going to play different. There's going to be something different about them. And then there's always the excitement of a new custom key partner or something that adds into Xenoverse 2. But Sparking Zero, all the characters play the same. So there's no excitement for a DLC character because they're going to play the exact same as all the other characters. So they're not going to sell DLC for this game. Like, they look that no one cares about Daima characters for the most part, unless they introduce something super cool on an Ultra Instinct Goku level. Nobody's really gonna care about what comes out of Daima. Not for real, unless it's Dr. Aritsu, and that'll probably be it. But no one's gonna play her in Sparking. They'll play her in Xenoverse 2, but they won't play her in Sparking. 180 characters are actually just different. He did the old bait switch. I love it. He did the bait switch. Admittedly, many of the over 180 characters are actually just different versions of one or the same person. But the whole thing is still impressive, yeah. 30 Gokus, 30 Vegetas. Except for the latest transformations, or expect the latest transformations for Orange Piccolo and Gon. So he's talking about this superhero DLC. Nobody cares. The heart of the game, the episode mode, the new episodes are the closest to the classic story mode. Here you have experienced the most epic battles in the Dragon Ball history from a variety of different perspectives. It's fun to fight, or fun to be able to fight against well-known heroes, Frieza or Goku Black, or even a presentation consists of he even hit on that. Even if the presentation consists mostly of still images they brought that up too. Nice tidbit, what if, blah, blah, blah. No one cares about the what ifs, so they all go back into the main story. Your own little Dragon Ball films you can make. Okay, he's talking about the custom episode battles, blah, blah, blah. The multiplayer modes are the real disappointment and not just for fans. Okay, so he's talking about local split screen mode. I'm not even gonna mull over that. The online multiplayer was almost unplayable during the review period. We tried it, but had to give up after 3 rounds. There was constant connection problems that just made the battles extremely jerky and not fun. This is, of course, a farce, especially with such fast gameplay, and we can only hope that the improvements will be made. In any case, it cannot have been due to the overcrowded servers during the test period. Presentation and graphics are okay, but the menus are, they even roasting the menus. Damn! Presentation and graphics are okay, but the menus are terrible. The graphics of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero are mostly functional, quite pretty in the fights themselves, but overall unspectacular. Damn, unspectacular, he said. And often anything but pretty in cutscenes. While the Genki Damas, Hell Spirals, and Kamehamehas are real blast effects, especially thanks to the successful HDR implementation, everything flashes and glows wonderfully. The characters often look surprisingly pixelated up close. Damn! 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 The fact that the Unreal Engine 5 is working away under the hood is not particularly noticeable, especially in a direct comparison to Tekken 8. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero clearly comes up short. Damn! Damn! Not my visuals. Not the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero brain cells, my visuals. There are no options when it comes to graphics. There is no sign of a performance mode, but at least the battles in single player modes are wonderfully fluid and fast. In contrast to the menu navigation, it is annoying and consistent to navigate away through the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero menus. We never really understood when and why we were to hold down buttons or just tap them. It also takes forever to switch between main menu items, and a very cumbersome progression system in the Xeno harms the flow of the game because we always have to collect countless rewards one by one with an extra button press. Damn, they had to roast that too. They got the roasted menu. So I think that's it. 67 out of 100. He went more thorough. He went more in depth, and we appreciate that. A 67 out of 100, and it's nothing but a fan service piece of trash game. Going on to perhaps the worst. I think this one was actually a 6 out of 10. So it's not the lowest review, but when he goes into detail of this, it's brutal. Let's read the next one here, shall we? Dragon Ball Sparking Zero review. Final flash in the pan. Oh. This is 6 out of 10, and they roasted them with the title. It's nothing but a final flash in the pan. Damn! Damn! They did a perfection title on this. Thank you, GameSpot. GameSpot coming in clutch with the title. The frantic fighting Dragon Ball fans expect is here, but it is marred by an overall shallow experience with more repetition than revolution. Damn. Look. Shallow repetition. You know what? Let's just read this. Let's go ahead and give it a read. The frantic fighting Dragon Ball fans expect is here, but it's marred by an overall shallow experience with more repetition and revolution. It's been 17 years since Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and its 3D arena-based combat graced consoles, and ever since, fans have clamored for a return to that old style. He must not have checked out Rage and Blast 2 or Xenoverse 2. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has answered the call with the benefit of an entirely new story arc they explore thanks to Dragon Ball Super, which wasn't a part of Dragon Ball canon until 2013. For the most part, the Tenkaichi approach still works thanks to the fast and energized battle system. However, repetitive gameplay and limited mode options leave us wanting more from this battle. Damn. They couldn't even get the Tenkaichi right. Damn. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a return to that old Tenkaichi format where two fighters wage war in an open arena lined with buildings, rocks, cliffs, and more just waiting to be destroyed. Each fighter has a mix of physical and ki-based attacks, highlighted by flashy and bombastic special attacks like Kamehameha, Final Flash, Spirit Bomb, and other iconic Dragon Ball techniques. As what's this? As is immediately noticeable, the visual style of Sparking Zero is top-notch. I think that's a little bit generous there, top-notch. Are you clowning there? I don't know. I don't know. From the main menu to the heat of battle, every character moves and fights fluidly. And the small scenes that play during a successful ultimate attack are a delight, which makes connecting with those moves even more exhilarating. Yeah, festival ultimates. Xenoverse 2 did that first. They're called festival moves. Festival ultimates. That's all this game is. There's no actual ultimates that have unique activation or combo-ness. Any combo ability like going into the move, that's gone. You just have festival ultimates that play a movie. That's all it is. But it's exhilarating. Nah, I think you're clowning on that one. This game is actually some trash, but I'll let it slide because you were a reviewer. In particular, attacks like the point-blank Kamehameha performed by Ultra Instinct Goku Sign form, the animation complete with scenes ripped right from the anime are amazing to close out a match with. Moving around the arena and approaching in a battle is exciting, but before long, what is this? But before long, each fight devolves into button mashing exercise. Every character on the roster, it looks like he's saying what Perfection has been saying for months. Every character on the roster shares the same basic control scheme. What? That's 3 reviews in the line. 3 reviews in a row now. They have said the very same thing that I've been saying since before these reviews. Every character on the roster shares the same basic control scheme. Close range physical attacks are assigned to one button. Short key blast set to another, and special moves performed by holding the shoulder button while pressing either of those 2 buttons. They can also dodge, dash, ascend into the air, or descend back to the ground and counter while being attacked. Finally, if a character charges their ki beyond full power, it activates Spark. They have access to a devastating ultimate attack. The adrenaline is there in every match, as mashing the attack button feels close to the rapid fire punches and kicks seen in the anime. But those looking for complex, skill-based fighting tech will not find it here. In fact, the majority of battles fall into a familiar loop. The match would begin. We'd unleash a few attacks. We knock the opponent away. Then we charge up our ki meter and repeat the process until the match was oh my lord, this is exactly what I said. This is exactly what I've been saying. Wow, how did this reviewer say exactly what I've been saying? Now we see why Sparking Zero has been on the run from these reviews. There's an exciting energy to this type of battle. Pulling off a Super Spirit Bomb, watching the sequence play out is intensely satisfying every single time, and learning about different characters throughout Dragon Ball's lore is genuinely fun and interesting. However, the lack of depth in the core of the battle scheme gives it a limited shelf life. Another thing I've been saying. That's another thing. Oh boy, I love this review. These reviews, they're a delight to read. Just simply delightful. Let's read that one more time. However, the lack of depth and the core battle scheme gives it a limited shelf life that's better for quick play sessions rather than marathon gaming. Then again, this is also true of previous Budokai Tenkaichi games. I would beg to differ on that portion because Tenkaichi 3, you had battle cancels, movement cancels, dash cancels. You could do a lot more with the super attacks. You had more that you could do there. So might want to go back to Budokai Tenkaichi 3 and rescind that part of that statement. I'm just saying. Okay? And that hasn't stopped diehard fans from enjoying it. So the series vets might feel right at home. Oh, you wrong about that one. There's a lot of veterans at Budokai Tenkaichi 3 that do not like this game. They turned on this game. Nowhere is this more evident than the episode battle, the main single player experience in Sparking Zero. Here, you'll select one of the franchise's main characters and run through the story mode from that character's perspective, fighting all the key battles that character faces along the way. Cutscenes between each fight range from still images and voices talking over them to short, fully animated scenes featuring a conversation between different characters. So yeah, the short little still image, they hate that story mode. Still image PowerPoint presentation. This creates a repetition that, despite the battles themselves being fun, wears thin fast, as the cutscenes don't consist much more of a few quips before jumping into the next battle. This repetition has been exacerbated by a few odd difficulty spikes sprinkled out through the adventure. Granted that most of these come at the most climatic moments in the series against big bads of Goku's adventures, but some of these spikes were downright unfair. No matter how big Grade 8 Vegeta is, that monkey should not be able to take a 10-hit combo without flinching, grab you before you can land hit number 11, and instantly deplete one of Goku's 5 life bars. Oh yeah, we've heard about that Grade 8 Vegeta battle. It made front page news. Oh, and Bandai Namco said they weren't gonna fix it either. Let's continue reading this review. Furthermore, losing a battle causes a brief but unskippable cutscene to play before you can actually choose to retry, and multiple losses means multiple trips throughout said cutscene with the same voice clips playing every time. That gets annoying fast. Damn. I'm loving these reviews. There are some attempts at variety in episode battles, as some of the cutscenes offer choices or win conditions that lead to branching storylines. These choice-based moments are a novel way to spice up the often trodden story beats of the saga of Dragon Ball Z arcs, especially in one early choice when Piccolo approaches Goku about fighting Raditz. You can choose to eschew his invitation and go it alone, which results in Krillin joining Goku instead in a what-if scenario. Yeah, we know all about that. There are one-off. Yeah, these one-offs are neat, but they ultimately result in nothing more than 1 or 2 extra fights before returning to the established path, which makes these what-ifs little more than temporary distractions. That's exactly what I said. Episode battle as a whole does a good job of retelling the story, the winding story of the Dragon Ball series, but with the expectation of the Dragon Ball Super story arcs. This is ground that's been covered many times before, and the choice-based alternate routes don't do enough to mix things up. True. Trash is a trash story mode. Everyone's been clowning on the story mode. In standard matches, the number of playable characters on the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero roster sits at triple digits, 181 to be exact. However, as is a running trend in Dragon Ball fighting games, that number is artificially inflated. Yep, they covered that too. Is artificially inflated by the faces found in some of those slots. For starters, there are 19 different versions of the series hero Goku, including 4 base forms where Goku is in his normal black hair state. Every transformation from Super Saiyan to Ultra Instinct has received its own slot, as well as kid versions from Dragon Ball GT. And that various versions transformations. 19 figure. That 19 figure also doesn't include Goku Black, the villainous alternate version from Dragon Ball Super, in his various forms. Nor does it include Goku's various fusions with Vegeta and those transformations. Oh yeah, they covered this beautifully. Goku's not alone in excessive roster representation, as Vegeta holds 14 slots, not including fusions or his GT villain alt baby Vegeta. Gohan fills 11, Trunks fills 9. Villains are not immune to these roster padding techniques, with Frieza, Cell, Buu also occupying at least 5 slots each. Some of these forms can even transform into other forms mid-match, which makes an overabundance of unique characters slots seems even more arbitrary. So yeah, it's arbitrary. So yeah, the overabundance of unique, air quotations, unique character slots seems even more arbitrary. Granted, it is a good way or a good thing to have all these different forms represented, and to the game's credit, each form is not an exact copy of the other. Combo animations vary between forms, while the special moves performed while holding R2 are also different. Think of them as Echo Fighters, and damn, reduced to Echo Fighters, damn, rather than unique characters. However, since the game's control scheme is the same for every character, those unique characters or those unique moves feel even less special when the same buttons are pressed to unleash them. I would talk about the combos because again, all the characters play the same, all of them control the same. There's a lot of bloat in this character roster, and it only takes one look at the select screen to see how the massive roster can battle in one-on-one matches and the World Tournament brackets, both online, both in offline and online. Through the latter leaves a lot to be desired. In our time with the game pre-launch, we were only able to link into one online match, trying multiple times in multiplayer or in multiple different ways. The match ran well for the most part, with only an occasional stutter throughout, but without a full player base to work with that might be a small way. That small sample may betray the actual experience. Your mileage may vary on launch day. So yeah, these were pre-launch reviews. Sparking Zero also offers custom battles where you can frame battle. No one cares about custom battles through that. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero does a serviceable job instant transmissioning the Budokai Tenkaichi format into the modern age. However, a lot of the pitfalls of that former era, lack of variety in the control scheme, shallow gameplay, limited mode selection, have also made the journey through the decade plus hiatus. The core fighting experience is fun and exciting, and it also looks terrific in motion, but repetition sets in quickly. The modes that are here to allow you to relive your Dragon Ball stories from different points of view, but the experience runs dry quickly. There's fun to be had in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but ultimately, this return to form does not spark as much joy as we had hoped. Oh, damn! There's fun to be had in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Yeah, if you want to be a cheeser, play Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Sensu Bean Boy, play After Image Strike or False Courage. But ultimately, this return to form does not spark as much joy as we had hoped. That's a beautiful wrap up to that. So they gave it a 6 out of 10. The bad. Mode selection is limited, and what is available is shallow. Each character sharing the same basic control scheme makes them feel less unique. Difficulty spikes in episode battle even more frustrating than challenging. Custom battles don't offer enough creative free. I love this review. What was the good? Core combat is fun, fast paced, and frenzied. Yeah, button bashing. Choice based variety in the episode battle adds some cool what if scenarios. That's your opinion, buddy. The game is visually stunning, especially during flashy attack sequence. Yeah, festival ultimates. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the game sucks. 6 out of 10. 67 out of 100. 5 out of 10. These are all failing grades. This game is pathetic. but it's easy to see why Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has been on the run from these reviews. And now everyone can see why. What do you hear in concert consistently across all these reviews? This game lacks depth. It lacks tactics and strategy. It doesn't have combos. It's nothing but button mashing. That's all that it is. It's repetitive. It's boring. Oh, wow, it looks like the anime, and then that's interesting for maybe, 5 minutes, because during 99% of the battle, you're just looking behind the character, so it doesn't even matter. And in most cases, most characters still look laminated in like plastic. This game has fallen apart. The illusion is gone. Look, I said this a long time ago. This game was not going to work. There's more than just what could be fixed in a patch wrong with this game. It's foundational. When the game comes down to not who has the best skill or who can do the better combos, and when you have a combo system or a game system that is just completely against you doing long combos that work off all your super attacks, when you have a game where super attacks are expected not to hit 90% of the time because you've made it so dumbed down, baby down, and to avoid them, they don't even have a system like guard pressuring. All your super attacks won't even break the opponent's guard in most cases. There is so much wrong under the hood with this game, and these reviewers are hitting on it all. And again, as the expert of all Dragon Ball Arena fighters, since I've played them all, I can give you a little bit more in depth with what is wrong with this game. Again, a patch is not going to save this game. It's a foundational, by design problem with this game. You add a million different ways to stall. You added mechanics like the Senzu Bean mechanic, the blast one. You gave characters who are obviously your hand-picked OP characters the best tools in the game, but you say, oh, you got 182 characters, and you by design, you made sure that at least 175 of them are worthless. Nobody wants to play that. There is no fun in this game. You don't have a combo system. Xenoverse 2 beats you in leagues, head and shoulders above you in combo games. Hey, oh, did you notice they don't actually have supers that will let you do combos? That's another thing. They took out entire super attack categories from this game. There's so much wrong under the hood with this game. It doesn't compare to Dragon Ball FighterZ, which again is a traditional fighter, but still, since people want to act like it's competitive, and then when they drop that defense and they say that, oh, well, it's not competitive, it pales in comparison to Xenoverse 2. It tried to add a gimmicky, create a custom story, whatever you want to call it. It tried to add that. It's bare bones and half-assed and lazy. This game is coming apart at the seams. Nothing is interesting, and only the most desperate and downtrodden will defend this game because this is their only point of being relevant. A lot of these people who are just bootlicking this game right now, they were playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and nobody cared. So of course they're gonna bootlick this game. This is their only opportunity to be relevant. Other than that, this game is pathetic. It is purely pathetic, and all who enjoy it and all who defend it are pathetic. This game is not going to survive till the end of this year. A DLC is not going to save it. Well, what DLC is going to save it when all the characters play exactly the same? Why would you care about playing a new DLC character when they control and work the exact same? Are you going to get excited because they decide to put false courage or after image strike or some regeneration move on the character? And if they don't put those moves on the character, you're going to completely ignore them because you know what's up. This game cannot and will not work. And then go in, nerf it. God, it is so much to be said about this game. But what is consistent with everything in gaming is that you might beat the game, but nobody beats the end game of all games. Hit that subscribe button and throw those ones in the sky. Perfectionists, we out.